Particle cap for Czar. Zenurik and Vazarin are both fine. That's the thing. They're not both fine. None of the focus trees are fine. Let's talk about this a little bit. Here's the thing that's not fine about focus. Like, we can talk about focus and be like, Naramon's OP. Why is Naramon OP? Let's look at it. It's because it has these 3 abilities. And this one actually doesn't matter at all. Increased affinity, doesn't matter. You just have to get this to get the really good ones. Shadow Step, being invisible all the time, constantly, for almost, like, for using the best weapon type in the game, you get to be constantly invisible. That's why this is so absolutely ridiculous, combined with Deadly Intent, which is not that OP, but getting 30% more critical chance only makes doing this even easier. So you just get these 2 things together, and you crush fucking hard. You know what's not great about Naramon? Everything the fuck else. Everything the fuck else. All of this shit. With the exception of some really interesting interactions that you can do with Traumatic Redirection that I won't go into. Like, and this is like breaking mechanics. There's a thing you could do to break some certain things by using Traumatic Redirection. Disregarding that, this ability is actually not good, because the good thing about this is the taking constant damage thing, which is not, that should not be a good thing in most cases. Everything else is terrible. It's all trash. Mind Spike Mastery, this shouldn't even be a thing that you need. You undo it and it makes the cooldown longer. Why is this such a long cooldown? Why are these called passives? These are not passives. These are activated passives. You do not get them passively, you get them on activation of your ability. It's called an activated passive. It only starts once you've used something else. It's not a passive truly. It is only once you have used your main ability, so it's an activated passive. There's a big fucking difference between those things, and it should be more clear. You only need to add one word to make it clear. And these are the thing. It's just Shadow Step, honestly. It's just Shadow Step that makes Naramon broken OP. That's all they need to change. They need to add like a 5-second cooldown, like between the 10 seconds, and then that'd be fine and good enough. And it'd still be like good. This would still be a good enough tree. It'd be fine. It'd be about the level of Zenurik. That they need to change is Mind Blast, Sundering, all this shit needs to be good and worth your fucking time, because it's not. It's all trash garbage, with the exception of some exploiting you can do with Traumatic Redirection. Same thing. No, don't commit any focus changes, please. Same thing with Zenurik. What's good about Zenurik? Energy Overflow. And you're fucking done. That's it. That's it. That's the only good thing about this entire thing. All garbage over here. All garbage. All garbage. There's a thing you can do technically with Energy Spike, but no one does that. And it's not worth it. Even then, the extra cooldown is really not worth it. It's all trash. The only reason Void Pulse Mastery is used is because it's cooldown. Like, that's all it is. It's not like a unique ability. It has the same thing on every single tree. It's just like a grind target. Everything else is garbage trash. None of this shit gets used. Everyone just uses Energy Overflow. And then whenever we get to Vazarin, this one actually has the most usable things on here because Trinity exists. So New Moon exists. Free reses are dope, obviously. And Disciplined Approach exists. Disciplined Approach is a thing that's really good on Trinity because it increases the range of her 4. That's the only reason anyone would ever take this ability, and everything else is garbage. Like, Polluted Waters is literally used to troll. This ability is literally used to troll motherfuckers. Like, that is how bad this is. You get it to troll with it. All of this other shit, like, no one uses this trash. It's all garbage. So, like, the only thing most people are going to get is New Moon, and if you're playing Blestrin in the, in LOR and stuff, then Disciplined Approach is good. And that's the only time you would ever use this. And then the main ability on this can technically heal objectives, but that's a very minor thing. So you would level your main ability on this one. And then, like, we get to Madurai. These are good. Why are these good? They add raw damage. Everything else, trash garbage. Everything else, besides Mastery, again, trash. 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 Raw damage passives. And then in Unairu, nothing is good. None of it. Why can I not zoom out farther than this? Anyway, none of it is good. Nothing. Nothing here is good. Absolutely nothing here is good. Like, Medusa skin, terrible. When enemies hit you, they might get frozen. Fuck that shit. That's abysmal. This tiny infinitesimal, like, this is abysmal. Like, armor increase, not worth it. Completely worthless trash. This doesn't stack, so you can't even remove armor from enemies. Garbage. And it's like, fucking what? Like, this shit doesn't do damage. Like, it's just garbage. It's all trash. Like, the focus system is fucked because none of it is worth using almost. Like, the only things that are worth using, let's count exactly how many nodes are worth using minus mastery nodes because that's a cop-out. 1, 2, 3, 4.5. No, 5. We'll give it 5. And then 6, 7, 8. Being really gracious, we'll give it 8. And then 0. So we got 8. We got 8 out of 5 entire schools that have like fucking 5, have like 11 nodes each. Well, 10 nodes each. There are 8 skills that are worth anything. What? Like, that's like an enormous failure. And like, they're going to be fixing it, obviously. But that is a huge failure. And like, obviously, whenever you open these things up, you're going to do it. Whenever you open these things up, it says it's a feature beta focus. And like, that's fine. And they're going to be reworking the whole thing. So that's great. Yeah, 8 out of 50. Like, fuck, that's abysmal. That's so terrible. And like, people seem to like not understand, like whenever we say, oh yeah, Naramon's broken, it's because of one node. This one node is broken. If you were to nerf this, it doesn't, like, you still need to buff all of the focus trees. You just need to nerf this one ability. You need to make this shit worth it. Especially Unairu. Unairu is a trash fire. Like, fucking 0. Like, fucking, yeah. You got 10 nodes, not counting the mastery, because mastery is like whatever. 0 out of 10. 0. None. 0 out of 10. Absolutely none. None of these are worth anything. That is terrible. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, there's 16% usefulness, 800% work. Yeah, exactly. That's fucked. Like, I don't know. Like, it was a long time ago, obviously. I don't know how in development anyone thought that, like whenever we look at this, see, I got 165 seconds to get to the point where I can activate energy overflow. Part of the reason this ability is not worth it is because I unlock this, and then it fucking adds to my cooldown. Fucking why? I improved my ability. It adds to my cooldown? Shut the fuck up. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, it should be 180 seconds. Once you get your mastery, it only takes you 2 minutes to get your skill. Dope. Why is improving your ability adding to the cooldown? That is absolutely fucking asinine. Are you joking? And, like, that's to not... Like, even to go beyond that, even if you took Madurai and got every single skill, on activation, you're not doing any goddamn damage. A 20-meter destructive beam that inflicts 10,000 damage per second for 10 seconds. 100,000 damage is like fucking nothing. The Atarax does 100,000 damage in one fucking swing on 2 enemies. Like, this is a focus ability? Focus. Like, who thought this was good? This wasn't good when it came out. Like, oh man. Oh, this was such an ability. It splits into 3 beams that each deal 15% of the damage. So what you're doing is you're doing 45% of this total damage split into 3. So you're getting less damage in a larger area. How is that useful? It should have split it so you cover a way wider area with your damage. Like, what the fuck? Who thought that was... Like, so what you're fucking telling me is I'm gonna unlock this ability. I'm gonna unlock it and activate it. I'm gonna add fucking 45 seconds to my cooldown to get less damage. Fucking who? Literally who thought that was a good idea? That's like one of the worst things anyone could possibly suggest, period. Like, what? Like, actually fucking what? Yeah, 1 shot of the Tigress, 10 seconds of Madurai. Exactly. Like, are you kidding? Like, it's like a joke. It's like comedy. Like, let's look at some of this shit in here. Cloaking Aura. Oh, baby. Mind Spike grants allies invisibility for 5 seconds. So, if I were to go down this route here and get another 90 fucking seconds of cooldown, which is over 300 seconds. Actually, about 350 seconds of cooldown on this ability, I could give a motherfucker 5 whole seconds of being invisible. 5 fucking seconds. You know how long 5 seconds is? What a fucking joke! Like, what? Like, What? And like fucking Sundering Blast, Mind Spike has a 25% chance to disarm enemies. Yeah, I'd like to wait 45 more seconds to have a chance to disarm enemies. Thanks. Like fucking, and like these cost so much to get. Like it's not even, like even at max this shit isn't worth it. Add 45 seconds to always disarm enemies. Still not fucking worth it. This could say 50 seconds of invulnerability, and I'd still be like, nah, probably not. Probably wouldn't wait another 45 seconds for that, because fucking Shadow Step exists. Like, Mind Spike opens enemies up to finishers and increases finisher damage. Oh, baby. You mean that thing that fucking, like, 7 Warframes can do on command? Let's add another fucking 45 seconds to the cooldown of this ability to get that going. Like, what the hell? What if they remove the cooldown penalty? Even then, some of these aren't worth getting. Because, like, even with base cooldown of, like, 120 seconds, every, like, 2 minutes, Tactical Strike, like, getting every 2 minutes having an ability to disarm enemies, like, 100% chance to disarm enemies, if we're looking at Sundering Blast at the maximum value. That's still not fucking worth using. Like, what the hell? Like, whenever we're talking about, like, improvements to Zenurik, whenever we're getting, like, over here, like, Umbra Lance and shit, 4,000 damage per second, oh, baby, wow. No, that's worthless. Like, every fucking, like, more than 3 minutes? What a joke. Like, it's complete comedy. Allows the player to see enemies through walls and displays them on the minimap for 5 seconds. What? Why? First of all, why is that not a passive? Like, that is what a passive should be of this ability. Where you get Zenurik and you get the passive that lets you see enemies through walls and shit. That might actually be cool. As a passive, it's like, oh, it's kind of worth it in some scenarios. But no, for 5 seconds. Why is this like this? Like, it's so ridiculous. Like, upgrades to this ability where you're suspending them in the air for a while would be like Energy Surge. Not what this says. Hits a much wider area and is now a 360. So instead of having, like, a line where you're doing, like, the, it's 15 meters. You're doing 15 meters straight in front of you. You get Energy Surge, and then it's 30 meters and a 360 around you. Oh, wow, that might actually be worth something. Like, what? Why do the abilities need to be activated? Yeah, like, these say passive. Passive is a really specific term that means passive. Like, always. Activated passives are the term that they're looking for. Time Stream and Temporal Storm. Yeah, these are also garbage. Like, there's so much just raw, like, just literal sewage that's around here. Like, it's really, really ridiculous. Grants a shell of protective energy for 5 seconds. Does anyone know how long 5 seconds is? That's, like, no time at all.
It's like 5,000 milliseconds.
Yeah. Armored.
Sorry, I had to do it.
Like, yeah, I don't know why. Like, how... I don't even know how it came out like this. Like, dude, what? Like, dude, what? I don't know how this happened like this. Like, there's so much trash. Like, we can all agree Shadow Step is OP. I'm pretty sure we're all on the same page with that. That shit is just true. And we can all agree the Deadly Intent is fine. More crit chance, cool. That's a good passive. That's a solid passive right there. And Strategic Execution, probably not worth it in the grand scheme of things, but more affinity with melee kills. Man, fuck it, whatever. Who cares? I guess that's fine. Getting more affinity is fine. It helps you farm more focus, which is whatever. I couldn't really care either way with this. But so much of this shit is just trash. Just trash garbage. Like, I just want to know, like, the biggest thing I want to know is what the train of thought was whenever they were adding shit like Umbra Lance. Like, with shit like that, it just isn't good. And Rift Sight. Like, what was the person thinking when they said Rift Sight? Like, what do you, when you greenlight an ability, and you're giving it this much of a cooldown in a game with no cooldowns, and you're like, yeah, this is fine. Seeing through walls for 5 seconds... That's worth the investment. Who greenlights that? Who puts the stamp of approval on that? Because I just want to know what they were thinking. Like, I want to know why that got the stamp of approval. That's the type of shit. Yeah, you have to wait like 10 minutes with a full tree, which is like almost 2 times longer than any mission would take. At least the names are cool. That's true. They probably were scared of making it too good and settled on making something. I don't think that's acceptable, though. Like, if you're trying to make an endgame system for players that are going to farm a lot, like, I don't... Like, it takes a lot of work to get these things. They should be worth it. Period.
Especially considering they nerfed what we could get.
Yeah. Especially considering our daily cap.
And the actual conversion of affinity to it is lower now.
Focus rework rant stream highlight. This needs to be made a noise about, I'd say. Fair enough. Let me... What time is it? It's only an hour and a half into the stream. Oh my god. I'm already in rant mode. It's probably, like, when did we start? Like an hour 15, I'll say that.